Hell been smoking woods and shit. I rather boot the bitch, ain't bout her trap. She in the stupid shit. Big roll recruiter bitch.
Baby, give me some cash.
Good. Fuck. Trap good. Fuck. Mighty Drake, I really got the papers for my shit. Like damn John boy, I took your bitch to capers, now we lit. I heard the bag just dropped, I'm tryna take what I could get. Yeah, your song tracks, don't care if it was Drake up on that shit. If I gave you all my rocks, that mean I love you. These niggas leeches bite the hand that feed them, I don't got nothing for you. I heard the patch came in, we finna bubble. Yeah, I heard the patch came in, I'm out of town, no I can't fresh. Come take a look at this, my eyes be low as hell, been smoking woods and shit. I rather boot the bitch, ain't bout her trap, she in the stupid shit. Big roll recruiter bitch, ain't scared to free, don't care to lose a bitch. Big roll recruiter bitch, ain't scared to free, don't care to lose a bitch. If I gave you all my routes, that mean I love you. These niggas leeches bite the hand that feed them, I don't got nothing for you. I heard the patch came in, we finna bubble. Yeah, I heard the patch came in, I'm out of town, no I can't front, come get a whiff for this. My bitch in Dior, she on her Christian shit. Might just spin a gig, cause niggas act like we ain't with the shit, I'm listening. If it's about some money or them dividends, might go get a bitch, can't mighty truck, see what the difference is. Sack nigga, he won't graduate. I just might go get that land for times I ain't had shit. Free tax and I'm turn Brady up like Kaepernick. She ain't my type, but she just bad and she ain't cashing in. Free Bambi, we get busy when that package land. Big roll run, shit, I'm probably out in Pakistan. Two player, I ain't tripping if you back the bitch. Paper strong, when I get my trap, boy, you can have this bitch. If I gave you all my rocks, that mean I love you. These niggas leeches bite the hand that feed them, I don't got nothing for you. I heard the pass came in, we finna bubble. Yeah, I heard the pass came in, I'm out of town, no I can't fresh you niggas. Big road make his way through the building. I cannot explain all this pain that I'm feeling. Mr. Big Dog, I got plays out in Philly. Mr. Trap Good, I swear I'm trying to touch a million. Beat that road down, they thought I had my CDLs. I ain't trying to kick it, I can eat up on myself. Sliding through the north, I gotta keep it on my belt. Mr. Boss a rep, I'm still screaming Rip TL. Put it to my brother, I'm still screaming Rip TL. Mr. Block cooking, we ain't need no skill. Get that pack on, cross the water, Michael Phelps. Fuck that bag up, get it back up on myself. Fuck that bag up, get it back up on myself.
Yo, 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 yo. What up, everybody? Yo, what up, what up? Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo, what up, everybody? Alright, yo, but, alright, so I know I have a bunch of lines. Don't worry about the lines right now. I was actually going to back test some things later on today. Well, I was supposed to do it tonight, but I'm gonna just work on this Model 1 idea, this trade from right here. So but yeah, I mean, like I said, the reason why I have a bunch of lines right now is just because I I'll have it here for a reason, and then I'll go back and like back test that area. Why did I use that level? Or like, you know, like for instance, this level right here, look perfectly right there. I'll look into that. What happened when it came back to it? Did it again? Respected, and even when it came back down to here, when it rejected from that, it did target that area and then kind of flipped it. But that's kind of why I have those lines. So it was just so I could back test some stuff. But I do want to go over some things right here that will definitely kind of give us the idea on how to be able to prepare for this trade right here. And then we'll do some back testing on some like live chart, but not live, but like you know, we do the replay. So if we do the replay, we'll be able to look at a few different practice trades and try to call it, or like try to do it live after I give these examples and stuff like that. So oh yeah, all right. So if you guys are watching this, then you guys probably been seeing me talk about the Model 1 lately. And after a while, I finally did get it to where like it took me about 2 weeks, I think, to really get it figured out. But I think I might have really figured it out. I'm not sure for sure. I'm not gonna be able to call it 100% yet. But the thing is I'm getting closer to having that understanding. That yeah, I got a little bit of understanding that I know I could get it down a little bit better than I already got it. So it's like I already got the plan now. Now I just got to execute it and literally just be patient for it and just wait for this one setup. And I think this is the setup. This is what's kind of crazy about this whole setup idea that I've been working on, is that when I first kind of started doing these taking out the highs to target the lows and stuff like that, like down here, it wasn't even with what I figured out. So this whole Model 1 right here is the answer to everything I was trying to figure out about these highs and lows and stuff. And then also including the CRT idea also gives me that idea, or the information that lets me know this is gonna target down there and stuff. So it took me, like I said, it took me about 2 weeks. Well, actually it took a lot longer than 2 weeks, but what I mean by 2 weeks was that once I started seeing it and started realizing what I was looking at, and obviously I was learning from some people also just from their ideas, I finally figured out the sequence of it all and kind of why. Because what happened is on Wednesday, I believe it was Wednesday. Okay, no, this is Thursday actually. It was, I think, okay, it was down here actually. So what I had did was I got the level completely wrong, which is I thought this was the level, because if you kind of see right here, when you break this down into a smaller time frame right here, this level right here, this was the same Model 1 that I was targeting. So when I seen it on a smaller time frame like this, I seen these highs getting taken out. So I figured, okay, this could be the area that we start targeting these lows. And that's why when I had taken the trade from right here, I was expecting it to go down, because I also figured this day right here was Wednesday. So I thought this move right here that was going to go up, I thought this move was going to happen after it came down like this and then went up. But it ended up just continuing up. But this kind of gave us the idea, because if you really understand the whole Model 1 thing, this is the Model 1 right here now. This is the Model 1 on the other side of it now. So it happens on both sides of the spectrum, pretty much. It happens on both sides. So it happens on this side the exact same way, but it's just upside down. And that's, and in this last week is what I finally clicked in my head, so I could finally envision it and understand exactly what I'm looking at. Because when I was taking this trade and then taking this trade, it was like two different thoughts. It's like two different entries. It's like two different everything. When in reality, these two were the exact same thing. And the reason why I kind of finally realized it was just that over these last 2 weeks, when I finally figured out how to, like, this whole Model 1 idea, then I understood what I was finally looking at from this way. So now that I finally understood it, it took me a little while, but then it just, like I said, it clicked in my head that this is the exact same thing as that. So everything I do to find this trade, you do the exact same thing to find this trade right here. So it all lined up perfectly and stuff. So that's what I was saying is like, I thought this was going to be the move. Everything was lining up, but then it ended up not being it. I ended up catching like 50 pips or something, but I was expecting, and this was like, yeah, this was like 45, 50 pips. I was expecting it to go 150, possibly 200 pips down this way. And that's why I was like, imagine if it did run 200 pips from that area down to these lows. That would have been the perfect entry for that. So once I went break even and closed half of it and let it kind of run, that's when I got stopped out at break even. So, but then that's where I'm saying is this, like, I wouldn't even consider this a loss, but like this failed idea, because my original idea was that this was supposed to come down. So me not getting that idea right actually gave me a lot of information that I needed for me to be able to catch this one, because I already had these levels up here as my original levels, and that was the actual move up here. So that, oh, and then actually why during the day, this is in the morning on Thursday right here, and then this is in the morning on Friday. So the move actually happened on Friday, but not a Thursday, but it still happened around that 8-9 o'clock in the morning. So it was still the 9 o'clock candle, like we always talk about, the 159 candle. So when you have the 159 candles, that's when you usually get a lot of the moves to happen and stuff. So that's what I was saying is like, when I try to take that trade on Wednesday, I learned a little bit of stuff, because I was thinking it was on Wednesday to Thursday coming down, but when I looked at the time I took the trade, it wasn't at 9 o'clock. It wasn't at no valid hour. It wasn't the correct hour. That's why this wasn't the right trade, because it wasn't the correct day, let alone the correct hour. The hour was completely off. But that's why I kind of realized this trade, if this happens at the wrong time, that is an indication alone that this is not the move that you think it's going to run all the way to your TP. And then that's what I'm saying is, what I learned from that set me up for this trade. But I didn't hold it all the way, because I was obviously like, I wasn't sure at this time if it was going to run all the way. I thought it was going to be something like this. So this trade right here turned around on me. I thought this was going to do the same thing. So when it started coming down, it started coming back up. I kind of closed it and trailed it, and it closed me out. But if I would have just left it at break even, under the same way I left this trade right here as at break even, when I got into this trade, I left it at break even because I thought, oh, this is the one going all the way to the bottom, but it ended up being the wrong one. And then obviously the one that was right, I didn't hold it like I probably should have. But the idea though is that now I know for next time is that, and I understand why this was the correct one versus why this one was the wrong one. So it's going to help out a lot too. And then also just looking at the day thing of like what, like throughout the day, is that this right here was Thursday, and then this right here was on Friday. So I don't know if you guys understand like SMT and stuff like that, but the idea of what SMT is, the idea of what like SMT is just like, if you can see this white line right here, as you can see how it like moves up. So that direction from the high of that candle right here to the high of this candle like that, it's in this direction right here. So it's giving you the idea that it's making a higher high pretty much. So that's what you want. So like that's what they call SMT. So that was also why this alone showing up right here, because this doesn't show up unless it breaks this high right here. So that's why I was saying, that's why you could tell this wasn't the move either, because at this time there wasn't no SMT. Because at the time, I mean, you could probably say this might have been SMT like that, but it's such a small SMT, where in reality, like that SMT is just this range right here. It didn't really go that much further than that range. It did sweep the lows of that range, and then it just did the same thing we look for, which is break the lows and then go back up towards the highs and stuff. So it did exactly what we always talk about, but that's why I kind of noticed it, where this SMT, even though it does show a higher high, but look at how small that one is compared to how big this one is. Look at how long this one is. That's how you know, because what I've kind of realized is that it sounds kind of crazy, but like just think of it as like this is like I guess a slingshot or something. Now you have a bigger slingshot. So if you were to pull this back like a slingshot, it'll go further. It'll go further down. So that's what I'm saying. I just see like this right here going up to break this high is just like a slingshot, so it could come down like that. But that's where I was saying is why this move right here wasn't the official move. But even though it was still a good move, from that top to the bottom was 200 pips. So if you're able to catch a 200 pip move, that's more than enough. But the idea though is that it's not the official move, which would be this move from the top to the bottom here, which ended up going 430 pips. So just imagine if you're able to catch this one and then you're able to catch the other 230 pip one. But yeah, so let me just kind of show you why I thought this was the level and how I found this level and stuff like that. Okay, so there's a few things right here. This is actually a Model 1, I believe, also that came down like this that we were looking at. And then as you can see, this is obviously it's a lot more, it's kind of this is what we were looking for, honestly. Like I said, look, a sweep of the highs, and then it targeted the lows of this range. If this is the range right here, look at what happened. It did target the range. So it came from the bottom, it went to the top, and then it came back to the bottom. So technically, if we talk about trading from range to range, that did go from range to range. So that Model 1 right there is already completed. Obviously, we could have probably wanted it maybe to this bottom area, but the thing is the reason why I probably didn't go there was because of the time and the day. Let's see what time it was at. It was at Friday at 1:45, which is right before closing. Well, no, not closing yet. That's not. This is AM 1:50. Oh, this is London time AM. So that's what they always say too. I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but they say London like makes the high. So this is the London time right here at 1 a.m. in the morning. And it says a lot of the times when we target that high, so that London high. And so if you kind of think about it, if this was the London high right here, when news happened, it did make a bottom wick, but what did it do? It targeted London high. So maybe that might be something I just kind of figured out right now, is to wait for news, because from what I understand is that a lot of news candles target previous daily lows or weekly lows. So if it targets one of those lows, then that's the kind of the direct. I just don't know. I haven't did enough back testing and live testing to see which which low does it have. So let's say this is the news candle right here, right? Where would the daily candle that it targeted, you know what I mean, what would that be? Let's see. Put it red and then go to the daily. Oh wait. Let's see. What was it at? Oh yeah, right here. I want to put that right there. Boom. So let's go to the daily. It's in there. So this candle, it did target these highs up here. So that's where that trade happened at. So look at, okay, so when news happened, it was this low right here. This is the low it made for news, which is, let's say, where did it target? Monday, the beginning of the week low. That is that low right there. It is also this Friday, the high of that. That is Monday. So I mean, it did target this previous day high. So I'm guessing the news was around here at the time of the this of the time of this candle, which is somewhere probably here, because that low was this red candle, or this red line right here. So yeah, I gotta remove a lot of these lines. I did want to back test some stuff, but I'll figure it all out. It's all good. I gotta work on it. All right. All right, all right, all right. Let's see. Oh yeah, so that was the low. So I mean, I guess it did target that daily high, which was wherever that was at, but it also targeted the London highs. So we were already below it at this time. So when we were below it, we targeted the London highs. What would be the Asian highs, which would be Asian highs would be, let's see, it starts at 5, so that'd be 17. So it'd be here. This is the Asian lows, actually. These are the Asian lows. So we targeted the Asian lows and then the London highs. Asian lows, then London highs. Let me write that down just in case, so I can look into that. Or maybe vice versa. It'll be oh man, I had a pen. I don't know where I put it at. Somebody jacked me. Alright, I'll remember it. How I remember everything else. Alright, it's cool, it's cool. Alright, yeah, but that's just kind of, like I said, that's just an idea of what I'm kind of thinking of. We did target the Asian lows, and then also the London highs. London highs was here, yeah. So we targeted the London highs. Asian lows. That was the daily low. Can't even remember. So it'll be 17. 17. Boom. Here. So that'll be the Asian lows. The London highs will be there. Asian low, London high. Damn, it's hot in here, man. Sorry if it's a little fan. I'm gonna have a fan on in here so good. Alright. Alright, Alright, where was I? Let's get back to this. Alright, so but anyways, but yeah, this is how I found the trade. So let me walk you step by step how I found this idea in the first place, alright? So yeah, this is the idea. This is how I came up with it. Actually, I'm gonna start from the very beginning. Let's remove it. Let's remove all of this. Let me find it again. Could it be this guy? Hold on. Yeah, I think it was something like this guy right here. Let me make sure. Let's see. Yeah, that was it. 5 minute wicked it. 1 minute. 1 minute juiced it back. Perfect. All right, perfect. Yep, that's exactly it. That's how I found it. So look, this is how I found it. So actually this weekend I'm gonna be watching some videos understanding more liquidity stuff. But as you can see, as this is a high up here, look, this is a high, boom, and then this is a low, boom. So you can see this is the range that we're trading in right now. So this is the whole range right here. So with this being the range, you're targeting the top to go to the bottom. What happened here? We went from the bottom to the top. So like I said, we already got rejected a bunch of times. But the thing is the reason why I don't think it went to the top is because this area right here, this little bit of area right here, technically never broke these lows. So if you zoom in real closely, you'll see that it didn't even break those lows. It got really close, but it didn't break it. So it got about there. So what that tells me alone though is that's probably why it got rejected right there and it didn't continue up. I mean, it did flip right here, so maybe this could just be a continuation because this is a lower high, but this is pretty much how I found it, right? So look, I had this idea of that this is the area that we needed to tap, but this is also the thing I'm thinking now is it's gonna pick a side. So what I'm almost thinking though is that this area right here would be the one purge. This one technically never broke the low, so that wouldn't be another purge, which is also why it didn't go up a lot. But if you zoom in on a smaller time frame, you would notice that this right here did purge. Look, this probably purged this area, and then that right here purged this and that. So technically this was the double purge. You have one purge here and then the double purge, but it never purged the overall range. So that's is why it did pump up. But that's where I was also saying why I knew at some point this was gonna have to come down, because if it would have broke these lows, then that would have told me most likely it would have probably went to the top. But this is why I said too, this is when I learned the whole purpose of importance of a double purge, is because the one purge right here just goes up a little bit. Even though it's a good move, you probably get, let's see how many pips that was, even from the peak, from the bottom to the top, that's 250 pips, but that's if you get it from the wick, you know. But what I'm saying though, that's 250 pips. But look at this other one. This other one ended up going 560 pips. So that one ran 560 pips. So that was the trade you really did want. But that's where I was saying is you see the difference from a single purge gives you 150 pips, where a double purge gives you 560 pips. So that's where I'm saying is that those are two different setups. That's why I believe a lot of times people get confused also, because they'll treat this trade the same as this trade when these two trades are completely different, because at this point there's only one purge so far. And at this point, this is two purges. So that is not the same trade as that, which is why you shouldn't manage it the same way either. So if you kind of already understand that, then you get into this trade at the bottom knowing that you're not going to hold it to the top, because that's not the move. And that's where I'm saying is you could literally use things that happen as an indicator to let you know how to manage the trade, because that's what I've learned and looked at, is that this is not the same trade as that, even though they did the same things, but this purges once, this purged twice, that one and that one. That's why it did move up. But that's the move you would be able to catch, understanding this is the previous low and then this is another previous low. We broke both of them going up. But yeah, so that's what I was doing. Okay, so what I'm kind of was doing was trying to wait for this trade, and then it goes back to the same thing, understanding the double purge. Look at this, double purge, right? Look at this, boom, boom, double purge. And if you look at the same thing about the SMT, if you remember the SMT I was just talking about, look at this, SMT has it here at the bottom. That's how you want to see it. And then look at up here at the top, you have SMT, and that is the formation you really want to look for when you're looking for these sweeps, because that right there is what confirms this move up, which is why at this point, when it's only this candle right here at this time, it doesn't go all the way up, because there's no SMT or nothing right there. So that alone will let you know, okay, you can't hold it forever. Just take whatever you can grab to the next level and then get out. But then look at this. Once you have the SMT, that is when the move happens. Same thing here. This move didn't go down because there's no SMT right here. It's just that one candle. Once you get the double purge SMT, look at what ended up happening. You got that big purge like that. So that's why I was saying is, when I took the trade on Wednesday, I believe it was around, oh yeah, it was around these areas. Looking back at it, knowing what I know now about double purges and stuff like that, what did this purge at all for me to think this was, well, I guess it could say it purged this previous area, but that's not even that big of an area. That's exactly why, like, I purged this area. That's not even that much. And then this coming back down targeted the 50% of that level. So it technically probably did what it needed to do at least before moving back up. And that's what I'm saying is where's the SMT right there? What could I possibly say SMT? The only SMT would be that, but that's not what I'm looking for. I need it to look like this. And that is the idea. That is the correct, like, your trade should look like that. What in this area looks anything like that? And that's where I'm saying though is that my timing was off. I did it on Wednesday when I should have waited. And then the thing is too is, if I would have thought it was Thursday, you could have gotten caught in this move down, which even though it was the move that moved down, look, it did come down. Let's see how many pips it came down from the top. It moved down 200 pips. Damn, you're thinking, boom, boom, I hit the best trade ever, right? But look at waiting for the SMT, that would have gave you the real trade for 500 or 450 pips. Yo, Dennis, joining in 30 minutes. No worries, bro. Just if anything, just rewatch the stream from the beginning. That way you don't miss no parts. You can start from the beginning. And I'm kind of just barely starting the beginning of how I find it all and stuff like that. But yeah, bro, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Dennis. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Appreciate it if you guys are watching. Appreciate it. Let's see how many we got watching. We got 6 people watching. I appreciate it, guys. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like button, that'll really help out. Let's get 6 likes in here. We got 6 likes. We got 6 viewers. Let's get 6 likes. Appreciate it, y'all. Hey, give me 1 second. I'm gonna go grab something to drink. All right, y'all, I'm back. All right, so yeah, from the SMT, that's what kind of gives you the idea. Now it's starting to do what it needed to do, right? So pretty much the idea is you found the, I guess you could say you found the buy side liquidity, which would be this tall. Like, you could say this is the range you're trading in, because this is like the range overall. But this would be like the ultimate buy side liquidity up here. Whereas if you sweep this high, that's when you know you're really gonna go down. And also the same thing kind of with these lows. If you break these lows if you break these lows without sweeping the highs, what that would mean is that this move down is not going to be the technical move that's going to keep going all the way down. It's going to move back up at some point, maybe keep going down a little bit, but it's not going to just keep going straight down and then eventually maybe make its way back here after who knows how long, 3 more months, 6 months, or maybe a year, who knows. But or it might just keep doing it from here on out, you know, just making these lows, coming back, and then coming back at some point. But that's what I'm saying too, is that if it breaks these lows, it's not going to continue a lot more because of that. It never broke the highs. So, but yeah, so that's where I kind of say is that is really the buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity stuff that I'm gonna be working on this weekend also. But as you could kind of see, this is like the range right here also. I guess you could say that right there. Boom. Here, let me see something with this right here. Yeah, it's probably that right there actually. If I were to look at it. Yeah, it still wicked it. Boom. Let me see something. Ooh. That would be the 5 candle. All right. You know what? I think I kind of just realized something right now too. Speaking of this. I mean, I guess you could find it both ways. It really did find it both ways. All right. All right. Oh yeah. So I'm just going off of this right here, the way I'm looking at it. I mean, I guess you could say then that's the move, but so I'm doing let's see. So hold on, let me check something. Let me see. A close back in the range. Close back in the range. Close back in the range. And then the displacement. That's the tap. Boom. All right. All right. All right. So look at guys. This is how I'll rather explain it this way though. I'll rather explain it this way. But look, I think I might be right this way though. The way I did it, it's a different. I get the same answer using this order block as I did using this hourly order block somewhere over here. Watch. Actually, I wonder if it's that one right there. Oh yeah, it was over here. So this high right here. Oops. So look. So you see how this is the high that broke everything pretty much? So it's the high of the candle pretty much. The one that broke the highs. That's how you think of an order block. The order block is the one that broke the highs or the lows. If you're looking for a one at the bottom, you're looking for the one that broke the lows, which would be this guy. But like I said, if you're at the top, you're looking for the one that broke the highs, which would be this guy. Boom, right? 50% is right there at the top. I mean, 50% right here at the middle. And then look. Oh, let me remove. It's almost the same level pretty much. Pretty much the same level. Let's see. All right, yeah, I like that one. All right, yeah, it's better that way. All right, so look. What I was using was this high over here of this overall range right here, like we were just talking about. Okay, so look. As this being the high of this whole range right here, that's where I found this order block to have this. Even if I could use this as an order block, I could find the same range, but that's like, this is like internal liquidity, you would technically say, because this is inside of this whole range right here. If it goes above here, that's external. If it goes below here, that's external inside of this range. But then if you think of it as this being the range, this would still be internal of this whole range. But so if we come out, boom, you get a bigger move. So look at this is a random thing I had thought about the other day, is that look at this is why Sundays only move a little bit, because they're creating the ranges, and then on Monday you get a break of these lows and highs, and then you get a little bit bigger, and then Wednesday you get a little bigger, Thursday, and then Friday you get the real moves that are flipping and stuff. So that's where I'm kind of saying is Wednesday to Thursday is probably all of these areas where you're taking these big giant trades. So why would you want to trade on Sunday, Monday, where you're only getting this? Or even if you do trade these days, understand you're not going to get the same range as you would on a Thursday, Friday or something. So that's where I also say it's like understand what day you're trading, because if you're trading on a Sunday, you should be, you know, you got tight ranges, your lows are going to get tapped. So it's literally creating ranges. And what ranges are just lows getting tapped, highs getting tapped. So when you make a small range at first, it's just breaking the highs and lows. And then as time goes, it just breaks more, breaks a low a little bit more. And then as, like I said, as time goes, the ranges just get bigger because the lows just keep getting tapped and tapped. And then that's where I say at the end of the week, you're in these big ranges at that time. All right, but yeah, anyway, so like I was saying, this was the top of the range. This is the bottom of the range. So what I did was I put this order block right here on this 1 hour, because when I'm looking at this range, I'm looking at it on the 4 hour. But even if I looked at on the, let's say I want to see what time frame this range would be on this one. Could this be the daily? That would be the weekly. So look, pretty much we're trading this 3-week candle right here. And if you guys understand the 3-piece and stuff like that, did that break the low? Let me see. Hold on. 71.91. 70. No, it didn't. Almost broke it. But look, that's pretty much the 3-piece idea that we talk about. Inside bar sweeping the lows to go back up. But it never technically swept the lows on here. It almost did, which is why I don't think it's the official move, because if it wanted to go all the way up, it would have probably swept it. But anyways, this is what I'm saying. This is how you have to visualize what you're doing, is that you need to understand the range that you're trading is just 1 or 2 or 3 candles on a bigger time frame. So what I'm trying to trade from the top of this range to the bottom of this range, it's literally just these 3 candles, but these are on the weekly time frame. So when I go down back to my 4 hour, that's when you, like, that's what I'm saying. That's when you get this. And that's when you're trading the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 to take entries to target the bottom of just those 3 big candles on a bigger time frame. So that's what I say is, like, whatever time frame you're using, like, you could, this is one thing I learned too, is that, oh yeah, John, what up? My bad. I haven't checked chat. I've been locked in a second. John, let me get to these questions. Do you use a simulator? So which do you recommend? On TradingView, when you buy the like the little $15 a month or whatever it's called, you get like a little replay thing. So you could do the replay, and then it could literally just play it out for you right here on TradingView. So it's not like the best of the best. It's like, obviously if you're cheating and you could cheat yourself and not actually use it the way you should be using it. But if you, like, all right, say hold yourself accountable, and if you say you're gonna take a sell here, you take a sell here, and it, you know, it just, whatever reason, just like I said, just hold yourself accountable, whatever, and you could use it to your benefit for sure. Though that's what I'm gonna get to a little bit later. I'm gonna do that when we take this trade. I'm gonna break it down on the slower time frame and stuff, because it's tough to backtest on trading without knowing higher time frame closing. Yeah, no, that's true. That is true, John. That's exactly why I say you don't want to kind of cheat, because technically you could kind of cheat, because if I went to a daily time frame, it will show me the daily close down here. I'll already know if we're closed down here on the 15 minute, we hadn't made it down there. I could already tell we're gonna go down there. So like I say, is that if you try to cheat, you could definitely cheat, and you just have to hold yourself more accountable and be, like, honest with yourself, in a sense of, like, you know, understand that that's the little hiccup you got to deal with. So don't just throw it all away because you're like, no, I don't want to have to hold myself accountable. Just do it to your best ability and be honest. And like I said, if that's somewhere you would want to take a trade, tell me why you would want to take a trade there, not just because you kind of seen the daily candle already close and whatnot. So and it depends too what you're trying to work on, you know, the higher time frames and stuff. Bro needs sleep, Captain. I know, bro. I just got off of work. I worked 12 hours and then I traveled for 3 hours and then I just hopped on stream. I'll probably hop on stream for another 3 hours and then I'll probably go to sleep. And then I'm gonna wake up New York session time, maybe like 3 hours into New York session time opening, which will be, I believe, like 11 o'clock New York time, 8 o'clock my time. And I'll probably wake up and hold another little live stream in the morning. Back test gives, you know, just practice some more live back testing trades and stuff like that. And then after that, I'm gonna head out back out of town again, and then go visit my parents, and then I'll be on the charts trying to work on this like a little thing that I have that I've been keeping track with of time and days and stuff. It's like a little project of mine that I'm working on with just trying to figure out times and stuff. So this weekend I plan on working on some of this stuff and try to get the times a little bit down a little bit better and the waves and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I finally got it though. Like I say, I think I'm so close to really getting, like, I understand I could explain it step by step, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. I want you guys to watch and see how I explain it. And this is something you could repeat every single day on any pair. It does it every single day. Wow, I kind of had a similar one. I worked a double shift today. Yeah, bro. That was a lot, man. But yeah, let me get back to how I kind of found this trade idea. Okay, so look at, we already understand on the 4 hour, and like I say, on the weekly, look at this, we're already trading in these time frames. But right, yeah, don't give in to the bias. Okay, yeah, exactly. Try to also maybe not use the daily, because you could probably try to just trade the 4 hour range, or maybe trade the, because remember, like I say, when you trade a 4 hour range, this is what I mean by when you're gonna trade a 4 hour range. For instance, this right here is a 4 hour range right here, because this candle is one 4 hour candle, right? So this is why I've realized candles are ranges. So if this candle was a daily, then that means inside of that one daily, it will look like this, right? So that would be the range of that one candle. So if every candle is a range, that's why I say if you end up choosing the 4 hour, you trade the range of the candles or whatever. This would be a range you're trading, but you're not trading the 4 hour and just those candles. What you're trading is when you go down to the 15-minute, that's when this shows up. That's what you're trading right there. And then that's where you're finding these lows to sweep, to take a buy, to target those highs. And that's how you need to see the market. And that's where I was saying is that it's okay if you use the 4 hour, because technically you could still get the same principles. Is that obviously you want to catch a 200 pip trade, but what if this range right here is just 50 pips or something like that, but you catch the bottom and you exit the very top? Then that means what you're doing is correct, and all you got to do now is now go from the 4 hour range, which was that one candle, now make the one candle the daily range. And then that's when I was saying like this, you do the same thing on the daily candle. Now you'll be trading the daily candle range, which would be, let's say for instance this red candle, this red candle right here just makes it easier. That was the range, right? So you do a line like that, a line like that. Now everything inside of these two boxes is the range that you're going to be trading and stuff. So that's where I would say, look at, now when you go back over here on the daily, this is the whole daily range that you're going to be trading. So you could still get some work done, but that's where I say is just don't go so far into the daily to see where it's heading, and then just kind of mark out the range, and then kind of try to trade that range. You know, when you move it down to a smaller time frame, this is what you want to start to look for, is things like that, you know. So like what I would do is like this, but obviously it's current time right now. Well, actually I'll do a little quick example just to make it easy. Let's see, this is how I probably would do it. Let's say like this, boom. Obviously I already know it's going up, whatever, boom, whatever. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a line right here, as that's the range, that's the candle range right there. So now I'm gonna go to the 15-minute. Oh, look, it actually did it already, I think. But let's see if that ends up doing it. Let's see what happens after that. If it goes back up, and it does, this is the one that goes back up. And then that's where I'll say, look, then that's the area you want to start getting familiar with on trying to, how are you going to get into that entry? Or if you don't get in that entry, where could you get in on a pullback or something to target this top of the range or stuff like that? So that's where I say is like, just be honest with yourself, you know, and you'll be good, bro. You'll be all right. But yeah, anyways, let me get back to this. You can technically predict the daily from the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, technically, yeah. No, that's true. That's true. But then that's where I say too, but really do the random, because on TradingView, when you do the replay, somebody select... Oh yeah, when you go right here to the bottom where it says select bar, you could change it to select date random bar. So if I put random bar, it's going to pick a random time in the middle of who knows what. And you won't be able to tell that. Obviously, if you went to the daily and whatnot, but try not to. But like I said, you could still just try to trade the range, because you don't know where it's going to go at when the price was at 1900. You don't, even if you check the daily, you see the kind of, you don't really know what's going to happen the next day or whatnot, you know, because it's so a long time ago. But anyways, my bad. Let me get back to this. Sorry, let me get back to this. All right, this is how I find it, guys. Step one is this: find the top of the range that you're trying to trade for the liquidity. So like I said, this is a top right here, this is a bottom also. But like I say, I had this area already marked out because of this 1 hour area on this this candle right here. Let me see right here, this let me zoom in so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. So as you can see, this is the top of the candle, and then this is the bottom of it. Obviously, the bottom, it doesn't matter. It's the ones that broke the highs before the move back down. So this was the last high of everything. So in reality, this is like the one at the top of the mountain. So that's why that one is so important, the one at the top of the mountain. So that's why I say I put the box on it, and I have my 50% line right in the middle. That's where I thought we would need to be targeting when we were already way down here. When we were down here, I already kind of had that idea. Obviously, I didn't think it was going to go straight up like that. I thought maybe my original idea, like I said, I thought we would be selling from here, coming down, maybe even to this level, then going up. Or I thought maybe breaking the lows and then going up. But what I'm saying is that we already had this level. So when this wick down like that, this day from this level, I thought maybe, okay, could this be the move? But this goes back to the same exact thing like I was talking about, is that this one never touched that bottom low on this level over here either. Look, this was a low over here. Look, let me show you. This is a low that got tapped. Boom, boom. This one did do that. It did do it right at the 50% level, right? Look at, boom, perfectly. It did the CRT that we look for, but it never broke the actual low of this whole range. This one technically never did either, but it went a little bit lower than this one. But this would also be a double purge at that time, which kind of confirmed that move up now that I understand how important a double purge is. But yeah, anyways, okay, so look, like I was saying, this one technically, even though it hit the level, but this is why I say this one never broke the lows, meaning that's probably why this one never broke the highs either. But you see how close it got and it reversed? That's exactly what happened here. It got really close to breaking it, but it never did, which is why it probably never went all the way to the top. All right, but yeah, so like I was saying is when we were down here, we're looking for that level up here already, because it's the 50% line. That's what I've noticed also too, is a lot of the stuff that happens is always at the 50% line. The real move is at the 50% line, not the fake one, because look at, the fake one was also at that level. Look at, that's kind of why this is what gave me the idea that this wasn't the real move, because if it was, it would have did it at the 50% like that did. I swear, bro, you've enlightened me. Technical analysis, very simple but powerful. Hey, bro, I appreciate that, Nan. Hey, bro, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's just really price action, bro. That's what I mean, this is gonna sound crazy. I was thinking about this earlier. I would say all strategies are the exact same because they're all price action. They're just different ways of reading price action. A rejection because you know this as a resistance is no different than me reading this as an order block rejection or something. So it's like it's still a resistance. The order it did the same thing, and if we both have the same idea, this is what I thought too. Imagine your strategy gave you a sale from here, and then my strategy, because I have a box right here, gave me a sale also at the same level. How do we get the same trade but we're using different strategies? It's because we're looking at the same chart, which is why I go to the point of just everything is just price action. Is just your way of reading it versus my way. And some people have an indicator on how they read it. Some people read it as a support and resistance, or some people use a Fibonacci or something. So like I said, everything is just ways of reading price action. So once you're able to understand how price action is, and like the ranges is what's important, understanding that all this trading stuff does is target lows and target highs. So look at, this is a low, this is a high. We went to the high, we went back to the low, we went back to the high. Now we're targeting these lows, we sweep them, go up, we target these highs, sweep them. It's just like all lows to highs all day, every day. So once you're able to see the ranges as the range, then you're able to do that, where you're able to kind of see, okay, this range was the whole range. And that's where I was saying is this level, it makes sense why I went to the top though too, because that's the area. But the whole main range is at the top. Okay, so like I was saying, I found my level, the 1 hour order block, boom, right? So now I went down to the 15-minute, and around this time is when the news candle happened. This is the news candle that actually touched that 50% fair value gap. So this is the start of, hey, what up, Atif? How you doing? This is the start of what I'm already waiting for, guys. So look, actually, let me actually do the replay now. Okay, so I'm gonna do the replay now so we could actually see it in live play. So look it, guys, this is how I was already looking at this and understanding there's SMT here now. Obviously, in the future, I'm going to not take this trade because I know I need to wait for SMT. But if I see a small SMT, then I understand that move could be still valid, but it's not going to be the move that goes all the way down, because that's a little baby SMT. That's like a little baby pizza, like a personal pizza. Like, obviously, you get to eat some, but you don't get to eat the whole extra large, all you can eat toppings type of thing. You know, this is the all you can eat toppings pizza, as all you can eat pizza buffet, because of how big the SMT is. Look at that big old SMT. Imagine if you could feed, how many people you could feed if this was a glizzy. If this was a glizzy and this was your hot dog, imagine how many people you could feed versus somebody who was only trying to eat a little baby, little smoky sausage. But pause, but you know, it's just funny. But anyways, like I was saying, is that, all right, so look, we already had our level. This move right here never tapped the top. So we already know, okay, that never hit our 50%. We're waiting. This is why, and this is how you don't get FOMO, is when you have a plan. When you have a plan, you won't get FOMO because you understand what you need to wait for. If you need to, like, let's just make it easy. This is the way I think about it too. If you're waiting, like when you're driving, for instance, and where I live in America, you can't drive until it turns green. If it's red, you have to stop. So it's almost like you taking a trade outside of your plan is when you're driving and you see a red light, you're like, nah, I don't care about this, I'm gonna take it anyways. And what happens when you run red lights? You get in accidents, right? So that's obviously not a good thing, which is why every time there's a red light, you wait for it. You wait until it turns green, so that way you could play it safe and you could make sure you make it home, right? So that's the same thing with trading, is that if my level is already in my head, okay, I need my 50% level to be tapped before I get into any trade, even if it does run 100 and 300,000 pips, it doesn't matter, because what's going to save you in the long run is by you following your plan all the time. So by me knowing my plan is this 50%, look at what happened. Got very, very close and didn't do what it needed to do. And this is only one purge. Remember, we need 2 purges. And also, what makes it even better at this time, we know this wasn't the move. So at some point, it's going to need to come back. So if it were to break this level, that would also give us the double purge, which is also a little bit closer to that 50% level right here. Because if this is the new high, then we're not that far away from that 50% level that we want to tap. That is our level anyways. So we're waiting for this 50% level to get tapped. We're sitting on our hands. We're not doing nothing until this 50% level gets tapped. So that's where I say that's how easy it is to wait for your plan and not overtrade. Because if you know you need to wait for a specific something, a green light before you take off, then there's no green light yet. The green light is right here. This is the green light. If it were to tap that, that's the green light. So once it taps that, that gives you the go that, okay, it's time to go. And that's when you start looking for your trade, right? So let's get into this. Let's start waiting for this level to start getting tapped. And we're on the 15-minute right now, actually. So what I want to see, though, is this level to get wicked. So prepare. I'm already preparing for this level to get wicked because, like I say, what I want to see is the Model 1 form in this area, because this is the key level. So when you're looking for a key level, that's where you should be doing your Model 1 and you're doing that stuff at. So remember, this is the key level. What we want to happen is the key level to get wicked. So if the key level gets wicked, I don't want it to close above. I just want it to wick and then close below this dotted line on the 5-minute. Remember that, on the 5-minute. So at this time, we're waiting for our trade. And imagine if you were to get into a trade somewhere in this area. You're just holding a range, and you're holding a range. Obviously, you might get, let's say, 13. So that's 70 pip range, but it's just like overall, it's a chop. You know, it's like you got to be really, and imagine this is 70 pips, but that's only if you get in at the top to the bottom. That's a perfect entry and a perfect exit, the only way to get 70. So imagine trying to squeeze out 50 pips out of a small 70 pip range. You're gonna have to be very correct, and that's why it's a little bit harder. Huzar, yo, what's up, bro? Hey, make sure you guys hit that like button for me. Hit that like button. Let's get this. See how many people we could get up in here. We got 11 people watching, guys. Remember, I'm gonna show you guys the Model 1 right now. This is probably what's gonna change your guys' life forever. I promise you. If you guys learn this, and I'm telling you, I don't want to say I figured it out for sure, because it ain't. I don't want to say nothing is for sure, but just trust me. If you figure out this Model 1, you will never have to take any other kind of trade. You could just wait for these things to happen, and they happen all the time, every day. But you have to understand liquidity, buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity. So maybe remember these things, write it down to what to look for. Videos later on: buy side liquidity, sell side liquidity, Model 1. Yeah, those look up those things so you understand it. Order block, fair value gap, you know, those type of things, just so you understand them. So when I say, okay, I'm looking for this, you already know what I'm talking about. I don't want to have to explain, oh, this is what a fair value gap, this is what an order block. You should already know these things, because what I'm teaching you, it's not crazy advanced, but you also can't not understand these terms, because I can't explain what these terms, you just have to know. Like, you have to be a little bit advanced of understanding this, so whatever I'm saying, you could understand it. But it takes time. It takes time. Remember, it takes time. All right, so look, guys. All right, so look, remember, like we said, we're waiting for this 50% level to get tapped. We're waiting for this 50% level to get tapped. We're sitting on our hands, right? And I'm going to show you exactly how it plays out to the point. I called it exactly like this. Oh, okay, perfect. Look. Actually, that went a little too fast. Let me do it one more time. A little bit slower. A little bit slower. 0.5. So look at, like I say, all I want, and this is when news happened. So this happened right after news. So news started pumping up, and I'm over here taking a sell. Why did I take a sell? Because the Model 1 showed it, and it confirmed it with the fair value gap, and it gave me the entry right around those levels. So it was perfect. But that's what I'm saying is it formed exactly into what we were waiting for. So like I was saying, we need this to wick and then close below on the 5 minute. Remember, 5 minute. So look, boom. This next candle is the one. Boom, right there. Look. Look, boom, perfectly, right? And when I was watching it, this was exactly at 8:30. So this was at 5:30 my time. I seen it exactly like this. And my buddy was right next to me watching me take this trade too. He seen it exactly. I said, look, it's happening. Boom. I didn't think it was going to happen that fast, but because I figured it was Friday. So I was like, and I kind of learned something on that it could happen Fridays. It just depends when this level gets tapped. But anyways, like I said, on the 5 minute. So remember, 5 minute, you're waiting for this level to get tapped. Boom, it gets wicked exactly like I said. This level needs to get wicked and close below. Then when that happens, you put a line at the top of that because that becomes your new high. And what you want is like this. Look at. You really think I remembered all these candles, or I'm just going to kind of explain how it happens? It does this, right? That's the top. So what happens is a close above, then a close below, and then this becomes the displacement, and then you have a close below that, and then you have another red candle right here that closes, and then this becomes a fair value gap right here because of these two candles that formed. And then you have a candle that comes back into this range that hits this candle. Oh, sorry. Okay, and yeah, and then you have a candle that hits this fair value gap right here, this fair value gap, and that's where your entry is at, and then that's the move that happens, and your stops are right here, because if this gets broken, then this whole idea is not correct anyways. So you want your stops, you give your stops at the top of there. You don't need too crazy of a stop. So like I said, you want to close above. So the steps is key level. You're waiting for the key level to get wicked, and then you want it to close below on the 5 minute, and then that's when you switch to it. That's when you draw the line, and then you switch to the 1 minute. When you switch to the 1 minute, that's when you're going to wait for a close above. Look, you're going to wait for a close above that that yellow line, because that's where that new high became. So what you're going to do is wait for a close above and then a close back in the range. And that's where I'm saying is. And none of this works is if it's not at the correct key level. What's going to be crazy is you're going to see this exact displacement happen sometimes. Let's say it happened exactly right here. But if this is not a key level, then that would explain why it didn't work out. And if you're taking this as like a pattern trade, meaning every time this little setup thing shows up, it's not going to work that way. It needs to be in the correct bias. It needs to be at a key level and things like that. So make sure you're doing this at a key level. And that's what I'm saying. At a key level is always the 50%. So if you find the correct order block or whatever you're targeting, breaker block, it's always the 50% of this fair value gap. It's always the 50%. So this move should happen at your 50% line, which is why I was waiting for that 50% line to happen. So remember, step 1, 5 minute wick to the key level, close below. Then you put a line at the top of the 5 minute wick, and then you move down to the 1 minute. Then you're waiting for a close above and then a close back in the range. There we go. Let's see. Okay, there we go. We got the close above the key level. I took sells too. Perfect. When everyone else is probably looking for the pump. Exactly. I took the sell as well. It was way too quick. Yeah, no, you're for sure. But like I said, this is what will give you the confirmation to know that was the correct sell. So like I say, this is the model 1 right here. So like I say, this is the top wick, right? You're waiting for a close above. Now what we want is a close back into the range, because this is the range. So we want to close back into the range. So the next candle, I don't know if it, I would assume if it's not this one, it'll be the next candle. Okay, perfect. Boom. We got to close back in the range. Look at perfectly. So what I've noticed is the candle that closes back in the range, the first green candle before that one would be the displacement, meaning you put a line underneath that green candle now. And then that's where you're going to be waiting for a close below. once this closes below, you're going to target the first fair value gap wherever it goes. Even if it doesn't form for a while and it does all this, I don't think it should close back out there. But what I'm saying is it should do something like this. And then once you have a close below, and then you have another candle that closes, that's when you get your fair value gap, and then you're going to target wherever that fair value gap is. And that's where I'm saying is you're going to get a close below right now, which is that red candle, and then you want to close below the first candle before the red candle. So the one that closes back into the range, the first green candle before that one, and it's the bottom wick is where you're putting your displacement candle. So this would be the displacement. So once you get a close below the displacement, it's the first fair value gap. And then let's see right here. Let's see what this candle does. Does it close? Okay, boom, perfect. We got a close below the displacement. Now what we need is another candle to close right here, and now you create this fair value gap right here, and that's the fair value gap you're going to target. And then look at what happens. Once you go to the next candle, it should create the fair value gap. Boom, it created the fair value gap right there. So there's your fair value gap that you're going to be targeting. So let me remove this now because we already know that's our level that we were targeting. Now what you're going to want to do is take a trade at that 50% fair value gap, also with your stops up here above these previous highs, which is that level right there. So technically this is 40 pips right now for what this is, but it actually was probably shorter because I know this level technically did go up a little bit higher. So I mean, even if you took it from here, you could have saved like maybe 13 pips. But the idea is you could repeat the steps of finding it at the 50%. Not every single one is going to go above it and target a little bit higher. Sometimes it's only going to tap to 50% and then come back down. So that's why I say is I always target that 50%. So what you're going to do is you want to take a sell once you hit that level. And you shouldn't go into that much drawdown because this is the if this is the correct trade, it shouldn't break these highs. And if it breaks these highs, then it lets you know that that's not the correct trade anyways. So what I would have done though, honestly, I would have waited for a top wick or something, and then maybe I would have, I mean, because I kind of knew this was the trade too, so I probably would have kept my stops at this level just to be on the safe side, knowing that I would probably still want to close at 20 to 30 pips at the most maybe. But okay, so like I say, what you're, now that the fair value gap is created, what you're doing is waiting for that fair value gap to get tapped. Okay, now it got tapped. Boom, that's, now you would be in the trade right now. Your stops would be up here, and then that's where, like I say, you start targeting the lows of wherever you're trading. And this is obviously the first low right here. Oops. That's 180 pips, and I think it went like 400 pips, to be honest. It did like 400. Let me see. And then that's when I say, look at, that's when it, okay, it tapped that fair value gap exactly like we wanted, right? And then look. So the most drawdown at this point you would have been able, you would have had to withhold. Oh crap. The most drawdown you would have had to hold is 14 pips. And that's where I'm saying is, if you would have had it even at 20 pips, you still would have been valid. And that's why I'm saying I would have had a hard stop at this maybe top, but I would have had a mental probably around 20, 25-ish or something. And you know that could have given you that move like that. And then that's where I was saying though, is that's how you know that was also the move, because when you went back to the 15 or whatever it was, yeah, like this, you also, that time you finally got the SMT, and that's how you kind of knew that that was the trade, because And look at it, just exactly from that level, zero down. Like I said, 14 pip drawdown. That's it. You could have even. This is an area too where you would have been able to add a position. Imagine you would have been able to add a position, because that does exactly what we want. It does. Like if you guys understand the 3-piece, look at what happened right here. And this was in the direction we already targeting, and this was the direction of that trade, and it broke in the highs would have gave you the idea to take it back down. But yeah, that's how I would have, like, what I'm saying is I ended up closing around, I forget it was like 50 pips or 40 pips or something like that, but it was around these levels when I closed it. It was kind of the first lows and stuff, because I didn't know how low we were really gonna go, because I used these previous areas like right here as I was like, I didn't know how low we were gonna go, but now it all makes sense of why. Like I say, the reason why I closed that one so early was just because of what happened the other day, because I didn't have the knowledge that I had today. After all of this kind of confirmed it, because I had the knowledge in this moment right here. I learned a lesson at this moment. I figured it out in this moment, and I had to try to make it happen on my first try after learning it, but it didn't work out. So that's why I'm saying is another try or another few tries, I'm gonna get this whole trade right here. I'm gonna get it right. I was one day too early the other day. Okay, I learned that wasn't the right day. That wasn't the right time. Everything didn't line up. No SMT. There was a lot of signs that didn't give me a confirmation. And this is why I'm saying I have step-by-step plays now where I could literally follow a playbook. I'm actually going to write it down. I'm going to be writing down, I think it's probably like 5 to 10 steps that, or like maybe not even 10. It's probably like 5 or 7, where it's like understanding buy side liquidity needs to be swept. A specific time needs to be at a specific day, and you know what type of time frame you're looking at, what the daily needs to look like, what's the 4-hour needs to look at, all down to a damn science pretty much. I took a sale, lovely. I didn't notice the forever guy. All I knew was supply area. Exactly, lovely learning. You are good, bro. Appreciate it, Neil. I appreciate it. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying though, is that's what exactly what I'm trying to do though, is be able to take this trade once a week or once a month or whatever it is. But look at how much that went from that, just from our entry down to where it did go. It was 400 pips from the very tip top. I'm sure we could have found that tip top if we really dug a little deeper. That's a little more advanced. This is the thing though. Look, there's three levels to this. You guys obviously are learning it from me, so you guys aren't where I'm at yet. I'm on level 2 for sure. I'm working on level 1, because that's level 1 right here. This is the perfect entry, the most perfect entry you could possibly get. This is a confirmation entry, and then this is like a continuation entry. So you could take this entry knowing this is already the move and you're waiting for that to probably happen. And that's where I'm saying is, if you guys haven't seen that sequence that I posted on my Instagram, and make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe, and make sure you follow our Instagram. It's in the description right now. And follow us on our Discord. It's also in the description. So make sure you guys go tune into those, all right? But yeah, so that's where I was saying though, is that you guys really, the model 1 is good for right now because it's a confirmation entry where I've taken this top wick entry a few times, but it's a little bit more difficult to find and it's a little harder to get. But I'm working on that one too, to be able to have it to where it's a step-by-step manual, in a sense, to where I could literally tell you what you need to look for so you could possibly take these trades. And that's where I'm saying is, imagine us being able to take one of these trades once a week or once a month at least. This one trade will be more than everything we would have done day by day the whole week, you know? So that's why I say too, we don't have to wait. We don't have to overtrade no more, because we know our setups are valid. Eventually, we're going to catch a 400 pip trade, whereas we could always catch a 50 pip trade all the time doing the same thing. So it just, like I said, it just depends on how we're gonna do it. Yo, Dennis, home now for sure. Yeah, you definitely gonna want to start it from the beginning, bro. I did say a lot of, I did kind of just go over it right now too. But yeah, all right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to take a little break. Not a break, but like a. I need to figure out where I need to go next. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask some questions. That way I could kind of bounce off of ideas. And I'm kind of running out, and I'm not running out of things. I could keep going, but I just want to make sure I'm teaching you guys and you guys are learning a little bit, so that way you guys can understand it. If you have any questions, shortcut, bro. Yeah, shortcut, bro. Excuse me. It's fucking hot in here. All right, give me 1 second. All right. But yeah, if you, Nana, does this strategy work on all pairs? Yes, all pairs, Mana. Let me just pick a random pair. Actually, too, I want to check something with SMT. Look at NASDAQ. Actually, NASDAQ. I think I could find it on NASDAQ. Oh, look at this. Actually, look at, I already had lines on that already for all of this. And look at what happened right at that level that I had it at. Wow, that was a crazy. What day was that? Thursday. Wait. Damn, that was a whole. That was August 24th. I had that level already. Damn, imagine we would have held that trade from there all the way down. Wow, that would have been crazy. But yeah, it's the same exact. Let me redo these lines. But yeah, look at this guy. Look at this, my guy. It's this right here. Look, daily. Let me go to the daily. Actually, the 4 hour right here. This is how I backtest this stuff too. Look, you find where you would want to take your trade at. Where would you want to take your trade at? Obviously here down to here, right? So you're gonna mark this area out. You're gonna figure that out on the 4 hour time frame. Then you go to the daily, and then you're gonna see what 3 candles you're trading pretty much in the idea of where it's at. And that's where I say it's the CRT. So you're literally trading, this is a CRT and this is a CRT. So you're trading this candle right here. And that is the sweep of the highs to come back down, which also creates a SMT. If you look right here, it's the SMT we talk about on a smaller time frame. It's a little bit bigger. So let's go to that now. Let's figure that out. 4 hour, boom. Same thing, boom. And what do we say about the Model 1, right? Let's see. Let's see. Where did I have it at? Let me get back. Let me put it a little more precise. Yeah, a little more precise so that way we can see. All right, so that's that. Let's see. That's that. And that's that right there, right? So that's on the daily. Let's go to the 4 hour. Boom. Let's go to the 4 hour. Boom. Now you're trading that level right there. So look, this everything that pretty much happened, exactly that. Sweep of the highs, boom, right there. Perfect. Level 1, level 2. It's all just the same thing. Everything's the same. I bet you I could find this level. Watch, look. I'm gonna do it the same way I found that other trade. Actually, let me put this back. That's that key level. Let's see. There's a key level probably right here. Look. This would be an order block, I guess you could say. Boom. Look. Perfect. That's the key level we're waiting for. So let's see. So look, that's the key level, that 4 hour. Let's see. Boom. Let's go to the 15 actually. Let's wait. The first 15 candle that happened to touch that wick. Boom, right there. That's the wick. So let's get back to this area. So I don't lose where I'm at. I put a little mark right there. I go to the 5 minute. Let's go to the 5 minute. Okay, there goes the mark. There goes the 5 minute. Boom, right here. Look, the first candle that touched the 50%. Let's just go off of that, which is this is the first one that touched the 50% right there. So let's put a line at the top wick. Boom. Let me remove this now. That's the top line right there. Boom. So what we want on the 1 minute is a close above, close back below, and that's so in like the sequence that we remember seeing it as. Boom. 1 minute. Let's go to the 1 minute. Where's it at? Oh man. All right, there it goes. All right, let's see. Where is it at? All right, there it goes right there. Boom. There it is. The 1 minute, right? So we need to close above, close back below, and a 5 minute fair value gap to show up. Until that shows up, we're not taking the trade. So like I said, we need a displacement, then a fair value gap. So look, this was the key level. That was the high. We have a close above. We have a close back in the range. First candle that makes the right here, which will be the first candle back in the range, you put a low right there. And then you find the candle that closes below the displacement, which is this candle. But you never have a fair value gap show up. Look, this is the close, right? So what you should be finding is a close below that creates a fair value gap. There's no close below. Look, this one never, there's no fair value gap. This is a long wick right here. So a close below, no fair value gap. Close below, no fair value gap. Let's see. Could you consider that a fair value gap right there? I mean, it's a super tiny one. I wonder if that could be possibly it. Hold on, let's see something. Let's say it's that one. It'll be the first. Nope. That one. So I'm looking for the first fair value gap that should show up. Probably, it looks like, but then that just came down. Yeah. Let's see something real quick. The only other thing I could see right here, it does work on all pairs, but this could also, I might be missing it. It's a little different right here. But technically, this would be your first fair value gap because there is a fair value gap right there. If I could see it. Does it show it? No, it doesn't show the fair value gap. But I could see how small it is. It's like very, very small right here. Look. If I put it right here, this box, from the top of here down to the bottom, that is the small, tiny fair value gap on the 1 minute. So that's technically the first one, right? And like we say, if that would have been your entry would have been technically at that fair value gap, or you could even, this is what I've also noticed, is that it could also target the order block, which is technically this candle right here. Let's see where to target it. Oh, pretty much. But look, so like, let's just say that would have been our trade, that fair value gap, that first 5 minute fair value gap. It did wick above, but look, you could use these as your stops. Like I say, the highs of those candles will be your stops. You would have been valid into that trade the whole way. You would have been in, like I said, the most drawdown you would have been in is 1%, which isn't crazy. And like I said, if you're using your risk management right, you obviously could risk 1% because 1% is not, you're only risking 1% of your account per trade. So even if you lost that 1%, it's only 1% of an account, you know, so it's not a lot. So if you were to use these as your stops, you would still want these to be almost 1%. So if you have to use a smaller lot size, if that's how you manage to have a bigger stop, but still manage to risk only 1%, is just having a smaller stop, which will give you a bigger range. But that's what I'm saying, though, is that this still would have been a valid trade. And that's where I say, though, is that that's the high and it targeted the low. So your TPs probably most likely would have just been obviously the low of those ranges. You know, you could have probably used like this as your first TP, You could have even maybe went break even at this point once you did hit your first TP, but then that's where it goes to the fact that it would have taken you out if you would have did that, you know. But then look at what happened right here. If you really look at this little candle right here where this trade kind of would have been at, this is the CRT right here. That's the high that got broken by that middle candle and it closed back below the range. That's it. That's just the top wick on a higher time frame. If I went to a look at, watch when I show you what this is probably going to be on a higher time frame. This is just a third candle high wick. So if I go to the 15, let's say the 15, is, where was those lines at? Right here. Yeah, okay, right here. Look, the 15 is just the three, it's just these three candles right here. Look, it's just that pretty much. This one is the range that you're trading pretty much. We went above it, we came back in it, and then we did make one more top wick. But that is like a wick that would have stop hunted a lot of people, so that would have fooled a lot of people though too. If I go to 30 minute, let's see what a 30 minute looks like. Oh, that's just one big tall wick. Let's see what the hour looks like. And that's what I say is you mark that level and you look at what it looks like every single time frame. Look, there's the CRT right there on the 1 hour. That's the CRT you would want to look for, is understanding. Boom, boom. That's the CRT. So that would have confirmed a lot of this already, to let you know if you were in that trade. Once this flipped bearish, that's letting you know is a good chance it's going to target the bottom of the range. And this was already pretty much in this whole bearish idea anyways. So that was just another top wick. And if you kind of think about it, I guess you could say this was like a SMT right here. It looks like that. You could say that was a SMT and it didn't do it, but this SMT is even bigger and better. So imagine, look, this is a small SMT. You did come down a little bit, but imagine you have this big SMT. Boom, look at how much more that did. And that, I guess that is like the cup and handle pattern that people would always talk about. That makes sense. Finally, that's what a cup and handle pattern is. That's why a cup and handle, and people are over here talking about, oh, I created this, no, man, you just trading cup and handle. But yeah, it works on all time frames. That's on all time, or all assets, everything. It does work on all assets though. But I do it a lot on gold. I do most of my stuff on gold right now. And I use silver as they've heard of silver as a SMT for gold. So you see how this line right here is like this? What I should see on silver then is the opposite. So gold and silver should always be going the same direction, but one of them should have a higher high while the other one has a lower high. And if one has if both of them are the same, then that's also an indicator that that's not the actual move that will give you that. So most likely I would assume that this silver should probably have a SMT going the opposite way. Disclosure crypto, could you look at Jari network? What is CRT again? I was like, wow. Okay, Hus took the continuation move you mentioned earlier. Yeah, I know, I seen that. Yeah, that was a perfect onion play. Like if you guys know Don Vo's onion play, that's all that was right there, was just a perfect onion. And understanding that, you know, look at the CRT is pretty much this. This is what a CRT is. It's just the idea of this candle being the range. This candle being the range. And then you have a candle that closes back in the range. But before it closes back in the range, it created a top wick. And then it closed back in the range. So it started off up. It grabbed liquidity, broke the previous high, and then closed back in the range, which signals lower prices. That's another thing you guys got to learn, and this is something I can't explain every time, so this is something you guys have to figure out. I tell everybody, if you need me to send you the little picture that I have, it's just message me on IG and I'll send it, and then that's what you have to study. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna teach you that. It's just something you have to study. But anyways, the idea of the wick above, close below signals lower prices. So the idea is that once you see this close right here, what you're trying to do is take the entry on the third candle top wick that will give you the move all the way back down to the bottom of the range of this first candle. So the idea, and that's where I was talking about, is when you see your range, you're looking at it, you don't even realize, this is what I'm saying, you asking the question, that's not a bad thing, but this is what I'm trying to point out. You asking that question means it might not, it means you just don't understand that these candles are, like, when they say these candles are the same thing, they technically are. So when you're able to look at the three candles, breaking it down on a higher time frame, let's say these three candles are on the daily, and that's where I'm saying is, now if you were to look at the what the daily would look like on another range with that same three candles, but on a, let's say, a 1 hour chart, it would look something like this or something. It would look like the range, and it would just look like you're trading up down type of thing. So that's what I'm trying to point out, is that when I say CRT, it means three candles on a bigger time frame. I want this on a weekly, daily, 4 hour, that kind of stuff. And when I'm saying CRT is you're trying to trade from the top of the range down to the bottom of the range. So you're trying to take these entries down to the bottom. So it's the same thing, understanding that this whole trade right here is just the range. So these three candles are the range. It's the same as this candle. Just pretend these candles are the same. Boom, there, that's what's the top of the range. This is just on a smaller time frame. Let's say this is, like I say, the daily, and then this is on the 1 hour. So that's what I'm saying is you need to understand. That's why I say when you're able to tell what the next candle is going to do, you just need to know what the next daily candle is going to do, because then that means if you understand the daily needs to make lower prices, at some point you're going to get lower prices, meaning on the range, what's going to happen? You're going to need to start targeting the bottom of the range. And that's where I say is you're looking for sweeps of highs to target the bottoms of the lows and stuff. And that's how you need to see the market. Is that, like I say, when I say CRT, it means these three candles, but you're not trading three candles. That's why I say people get confused and they end up trying to pattern trade, meaning every time you see these three candles like this, it makes you want to think, oh, it's going to happen, and you take the trade and it goes against you, and then you're completely wrong. But that's what I'm saying is you need to be able to understand that the three candles on a higher time frame is just this on a smaller time frame. And then this is when you're looking for sweeps of lows to take to the top of the range, or sweeps of highs to take back to the bottom of the range. And that's what I'm saying is when you know a wick above close below the top wick of the previous candle, you know that means lower prices. So you should already know the next daily, a lower price means it might need to make a top wick to grab liquidity, which will be a fair value gap or an order block or something in this top wick right here. And that's where you'll get a retest, and that's when you'll get the move back down and stuff. And that's what I'm saying is that's how you kind of could you could identify the bias that way by knowing what the next daily candle needs to do. Knowing what the next 4 hour candle needs to do, you'll be able to almost trade the range, knowing that it needs to target this high, it needs to target this low. You could literally you could just target the top of the range to the bottom of the range. And that's where I'm also saying too, understanding it's a lot to this. Remember, you're not going to learn it in one day. No matter what I tell you right now, you're not going to remember it all. So you just have to show up every single day. And this is why I'm recording this and I'm posting it on YouTube, so you could go and rewatch this and figure this stuff out. The thing is also, I can't tell you guys all individually one by one the answer every single day. So that's what I'm saying is you're not doing anything right now to make money. If you're watching this trying to learn, you don't need to do nothing trying to put money on the line, trying to make all of a sudden, oh, I think he taught me the right thing and I'm gonna go put all my money on the line. No, that's not the case. What I'm teaching you right now means you need to go and back test this. You need to go and figure it out on your own now, and try to be able to call it on your own. And that's when you'll be able to trade with real money. Or like I said, if you're already trading with real money using your own strat already, then do what you do. But what I'm saying is when you learn something new and you're starting to practice it, don't go start using real money to try to figure this stuff out. You need to. I'm on stream right now. Hold on, let me charge my phone. Let me charge my computer real quick before it dies. All right, but yeah, like I'm saying is you need to understand that what I'm doing right now is out of the pure love of wanting to be a good trader, because I'm not getting paid for none of this right now. I'm literally doing this for fun. And that's where I kind of say is if you're doing it for fun, you need to you're doing it because you're trying to learn. So you need to be willing to do this for fun and not get paid a single dollar for at least a month or something, because you need understand me being able to explain it the way I explain it is because I've been doing it for a long time already. I haven't just started it yesterday and all of a sudden it just finally after the last few weeks it's starting to come together. Every mistake I made along this week going up got me to the point to understand how to find that exact entry and why that one was valid compared to this one or something, you know. So that's where I'm kind of saying is that you're just gonna have to put some back testing into it and figure it out. But like I said, I'm giving you the sauce. It's like I can't make it any easier than I am. It's like I'm literally telling you step by step on how to handle this and find this, and this is what the steps you have to do one by one. And if you ask me the question on how to do this, I'm gonna tell you the same exact thing all 100 times you ask me. So why not just rewatch the video that I explained it and until you finally understand it, and then you could rewatch it as many times as you need, and then you could understand it to where you could start putting it onto like a demo trade and start practicing it and seeing if it plays out the way you. The way to know if you know what you're talking about is to do it live, in the sense of like calling it out live. So when you see a buy side liquidity get swept, then you're waiting for a close above, close back below. And that's what I'm saying. The way I set up the steps step by step, I could literally be waiting step by step what's gonna happen, literally step by step, knowing, okay, boom, this needs to happen next, this needs to happen next, this needs to happen. So once you're able to do that before it happens, you should be able to predict it. And that's what I'm saying is once you're able to predict it, then you know you have it figured out. There was no way I could guess this exact area at the exact perfect second. You know, it was like because everything lined up perfectly. It was the perfect setup for that. And like I said, it's perfect. It was probably the best. Even though I didn't hit the whole trade, it was probably one of my best setups because of the fact that how precise and on point I was, pretty much being able to like, this is the one, this is it, you know, because it lined up with everything. Everything was on point that one. It did exactly how I always talk about it, and it was just like, man, that was it. But yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask some questions, man, because I don't know what else you guys have. But like I say, the main thing is understanding the buy side and sell side liquidity, because that's where you're going to be targeting. So understanding your buy side and sell side liquidity, that's how you're going to target the bottoms and the highs and the lows. So pretty much like I say about the highs and lows, right? Look, this was a high, we broke it to come down. Now this is a low over here, and look at what happened. We closed back. So it literally just took out the highs here, took out the lows from here. So what might happen now next is there's some highs over here now, which is about 50% technically, and also this fair value gap, now that it created on this level, this could possibly be coming to these levels maybe, and then start targeting these lows down here to sweep. So I mean, it doesn't have to come straight down, but it could start moving up, maybe even a little higher or something, but then for a day or two kind of range in these levels, do one more like that, break the high. And because like I said, Sunday makes the range. As days go on, the ranges get bigger and bigger, and maybe by whatever day, let's see if we have news next week. What day will we have news? So Monday we have final wholesale inventories, consumer credit, but they're not red folders, so it doesn't seem like they're that important. And that's on Monday. On Tuesday, we have nothing really besides this one, but that one's really FOMC, but it's not a red folder. I'm gonna guess Wednesday. Okay, perfect. Yeah, Wednesday it is. That's how what day it is for CPI. So I'm wondering excuse me. Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering if how should we go about that? Because the move today that led us into that target to take over that move was from the news candle. So I'm just wondering is if this next news candle could be the one that sends us into that because this was the news candle right here, and that's what's set off everything. So I'm just wondering if that next week news candle could be the one that's like officially sets this next move off too. But yeah, you're welcome, guys. You're welcome. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching though. If you guys wouldn't mind hitting that like and subscribe, hit that like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And we got 8 people watching right now. 8 people watching. Or 9 people watching. That's love right there. We got 13 likes. Oh, we got 10 people watching. Hey. There are some news in Asian will pump gold for AMD. Okay. For Asian, that makes sense. Let's see. All right, let's do one practice test. Let's do one little practice trade. Let's see if we could do it. Sorry you mentioned turtle soup. Do you mind explaining it? New lingo for me. Oh yeah. Well, this is turtle soup. Everything I just explained in this video, model 1, that is turtle soup. All turtle soup is just a sweep of a high, which is this high right here. Look at this. That high. Oh, let me switch it to that line. That's the high. Oh, what the heck? Oh yeah. Look, let me put it white, and let me put this a solid line. So look, you see how this is a high right here? That's the buy side liquidity. And because at this point, you don't know what's happening. Because look, the chart will be like this. You wouldn't know what's happening yet because it hadn't happened yet, obviously. So you have a low, and then you also have a high. So you're literally just waiting for one of these sides to get swept. Obviously, this is a easy cherry-picked example. It's not always going to be like that, but the idea is that one of these sides is going to get swept, and that's what happened over here. This side got swept. Once that side got swept, that's the turtle soup right there. So the turtle soup is this right here. What we did, if you like, and just doing it the opposite, look at invert the candle, it does the same thing on the other way. It just sweeps the lows to go to the highs, and that's kind of what we explained. And this, it's the same setup. Whatever you do at the top to go to the bottom, is the same thing from the bottom to the top. It's the same idea. But yeah, turtle soup is just it's just pretty much, it's this model that I'm explaining to you. That is the turtle soup. The model 1 is turtle soup. And what turtle soup is just sweeping of the highs or lows to target the bottom of the range. So if this is the whole range, we swept the highs, and look at, we went to the lows. So this is where you would want to be in a trade from here, taking it all the way down and closing at full TP at the bottom. And you know this is the correct entry because look at, nothing ever even came close to hitting your break even. You could have went break even and been risk free with no worries in the world, going straight down, you know, because it sucks when you're in, let's say you would have gotten in right here on a sell. You take a sell from right here, and then once you go break even, look at what happens. It comes back up, it stops you out, and then it goes back in the direction. So there's 2 options when you trade like that, is when you're either taking this breakout and closing there, or you're not, or your stops are up here and you're not even moving your stops. So, but if you're not moving your stops, then that means you have to technically go into drawdown, and then like, so if you got in right here, if you got in somewhere around here, once you go above that, you're in drawdown. So you would have to go from profits back to negative, and then all the profits you would want. But that's what I'm saying, is this coaster of emotions, you have to be okay withstanding that, and also being able to hold it, to be confident enough that that is the move, you know. Unless you get into like perfect entry right at the end before the move happens. Like, I think this is where Huss got in. He got in this candle or this candle, and like I say, zero drawdown, perfect entry. That's where you want that trade. So if you were to take this trade, this is the same entry as this entry, but the only difference is one has drawdown and one has straight to TP. So imagine how stress-free this is, and imagine you're not going to be able to do this 100% of the time perfectly. So that means by making and obviously sometimes you're gonna be wrong and it's gonna go against you. So imagine if you don't go break even and you're willing to hold, but let's say this doesn't stop here and go in your direction, you actually got it wrong, then you're gonna hit full stop loss, and that's just a big stop, you know. So it's almost better to try to take the trades. It's hard to understand how do you get in this trade right here versus how do you get in to avoid that trade. And just from I would say it's most likely the because this is already the move right here, there's always going to be a pullback. And where did the pullback happen at? Look at where the look at where the pullback happened into this fair value gap right here perfectly. And that's where I say that's like, that is another entry. So like I was saying, there's 5 different entries that you could possibly take on a correct turtle soup. Let me show you, or let me explain. Let me put them out. Okay, so the original one is turtle soup, order block, breaker, OTE, and KOD, which is kiss of death. So all 5 of those are different entries. So like where I say is like, this is turtle soup, this is order block, this is breaker block, this is OTE right here, this is OTE, and then this is kiss of death, which is just a breakout continuation. So at all of these show up in the correct turtle soup. So let's say you missed this one, you don't always have to take this one. That's when this model 1 comes in handy, because even if you miss it or you don't like taking that one because you like to wait for the confirmation, that's where this model 1 comes in, because the model 1 is just the confirmation of this entry. And that's where I say this entry up here, which is the top wick, that's the advanced entry. This is more intermediate middle section, and then this is, I would say, like the last breakout, the more of a, it's a retest, more confirmation. So it's like, this is a double confirmation, where this is like just a single confirmation, and this is just a like a breakout, I guess you could say. But yeah, they're like different entries that you can have. And I'm not saying any of these entries are wrong. These entries are just right. But what I'm just saying is, in order to be able to get this entry right, you got to be a lot better trader than if you were just taking this entry to get right. Because this, not saying this entry is even easy, any kind of easier, but it's just, the thing is like a breakout is a little bit easier because you already know the trend. And that's where, whereas in this entry, you're predicting the trend, in a sense of you're predicting it's going to reverse here. So that's why this is a lot harder, because you could get it wrong. Imagine you're thinking reverse here, nope, reverse here, nope, reverse here, and then finally you get it right. But that's where I say is that this is a lot harder to get into compared to this one, because this is a confirmation, which would be a double confirmation, because if you understand this whole sequence, then you'll know if this entry happened and it was valid, that was it. And then this entry happened and it was valid, that was it. So that would give me more confidence knowing that this could be another entry, because this is validating this entry. And then when that entry breaks the lows and it goes back towards these levels, then that's when you most likely could say this is for sure a breakout without having to guess, because all of these already happened. This is the last step of the final to the bottom of the range. So that's like the last push that you're going to be looking for. So like I said, you don't always have to get the top. There's multiple entries you could get to, but that's where I say the model 1 is like the second entry, but it's also a confirmation entry, which is a little bit easier. It's a little bit, it's not any easier. It's still hard, but I'm just saying it's just two different types of entries. Two different types. One, you're predicting the reversal. One, you're kind of jumping on the trend that's already reversed. Sorry, you mean, okay, yeah. Price must go to 50% of fair value or to wait. World King, from what my analysis is look at what happened. This is the fair value gap that we're choosing, and look at where it did go, 50%. So if you do this 100 times, you find these trades, back testing them, and you find every single time that you hit a fair value gap. But then again, look at this. There's a fair value gap right here. You could be like, why didn't this one work out? Because in this moment, a lot of people probably took this as a sell. Because look at that. That did sell perfectly. It rejected it, and then it came down. But then all it did was just break these lows so it could go back around. So it's like, how come this one doesn't work? But then that's where I say this is not a key level. Where this happened at was not the key level, because remember when we talked about the key level, that was the 1 hour, that was this 1 hour order block that we were talking about right here. Let me put the box back, which is here. Boom, boom. Look, when this trade happened, it never hit the 50% line, and it never did the model 1. So how are we going to, take this as that trade? That's why that one didn't work out. And then that explains also why this fair value gap just gets blown straight through, because this is not the right one. So this is also what I say a lot of times, where people, they're like, why didn't my fair value gap work? If you tell me your fair value gap didn't work or your order block didn't work, it's because you're in the wrong bias. And the wrong bias is thinking you're taking buys all the way down here. Like any move down here taking a buy was going against the bias. Like you're standing against the wind, and you're trying to run a race, and the wind's blowing against you. It's like you're making your life so much harder. Things have to be so much more precise when you're going against the trend. So this is what they always do, though. They always try to trick you into thinking it's going one way. By the time people got on this was a breakout to a lot of people. Imagine how many people took this as a breakout because it's the normal close above, and then it should just start pushing up. But that's rookie stuff. That's like rookie mistake, because that's what they want you to think. So that way they could send it back out. And that's where I'm saying is, predicting the reversal is pretty hard, but then again, it's not that hard if you're waiting for your setup. If you're waiting for everything to plan out, it should be a little bit easier on how you do it, so. But yeah, I appreciate that question, though. I appreciate it. That was a good question. Let's see. We got 11 people watching, y'all. I appreciate that. I appreciate it a lot. Make sure you guys hit that like. We got 16 likes. Let's try to hit 25 likes. Let's try to hit 25 likes. All right. My bad, Dennis. I just seen your message. Or Dennis, the best pair is gold for that strategy. Works almost on all pairs. Yeah, that's true. But Dennis, this is one thing about that, is that the guy I learned it from, he does do it on gold, but he does it on Bitcoin. He does it on Euro USD. He does it on NASDAQ. It does it on there's like, because candles are candles. Like if I were to tell you, tell me what asset this is without looking at price and without looking at the time, you wouldn't be able to tell me, oh, that's gold, because it's just candles. There's nothing that will indicate whether it's gold or NASDAQ or anything like that. So just for me saying that, though, is why I say is like it ends up just being all candles. So the whole idea of what we talk about the Model 1 is just candles need to form that way too. So if it doesn't form that way on NAS, it's because it's not the move. But if you see it on NAS, it is the move. So, but look at this is why I say it too, because why I knew the NASDAQ was that trade, the one from the top to the bottom. He just posted a video today. Oh yeah, this one is it. Oh yeah, look right here. Look at this trade. He took the turtle soup and he made $100,000 on this trade, and that's where I'm saying is that is pretty much what he took on the same thing, and it was on NQ NASDAQ. Art. Oops. I hope he doesn't try to copyright me. How do you fast forward it? Let's see. I want to fast forward it. Oh, actually, it is fast forwarded. Look. Oh yeah. Look at the top. Look at the top. Look at the top. How he did the top. That is the move right there. That is the move we talk about. Oh, let me see. Look. But look, that's where I say, look at everything that we talk about, everything that we do and stuff. It's the same stuff right here. Look, turtle soup short. Boom. Close above. You have the first candle that closes back inside of the range. And it'll be that guy. Boom. Oh, no, that would be the order block. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That would be the order block. Because it closed back above the range, and that's the high. But look at where he even added his positions. He took the sales at the top of the top wick, perfect entry on the second retest, and then he, look at this. Wow. That was the NASDAQ trade pretty much. And that's literally just trading range from range. Look at the top of the range to the bottom of the range. That's all we're doing right there, is we're waiting for buy side, sell side liquidity, or whatever, however they call it. And like I say, is that the thing is like, I know people like to say, oh, ICT, I don't like to trade like ICT and this and that. But this is what I've learned by looking into it. It's all just price action. Everything is price action. A fair value gap is just a different way of pointing out price action. So at the end of the day, it's just like he labels it that way just so he doesn't have to explain fair value gap. He says FVG, so, and you already know what a FVG is, so he doesn't have to explain it. But it's just ways of remembering price action. That's all everything is just remembering price action. But yeah, that's the dude that, he's the one that, I don't know, he's not, this is the thing, I don't think anybody invented nothing. They might have showed you or something, you know, but they didn't invent it. They just learned it from somebody else, or they watched, because like I said, we're all looking at the same exact market. So there's no reason why I couldn't figure that out eventually, you know. Some people just don't think like that though. So that's why you'll never figure it out, because you don't think like outside of the box about it. You kind of just think normal. So there's a lot of this stuff you almost got to think a little bit outside of the box to try to, why does it happen there? Look at this, look at that. You know, it's always that kind of stuff. But yeah. Let me see any more questions, bro. Gari Network once. I don't even know what Gari Network is, bro. And I don't want to waste time checking that because I'm never gonna look at it, bro. I if anything, if you have one of these pairs, I'll rather look at one of these pairs because these are the pairs I'm always looking at and stuff. So yeah, my bad, bro. I just, like I said, I don't look at Gari Network. Oh, they switched my music on me. All right. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask me a question. Feel free to. We got 7 people watching right now. 7 people. Appreciate it, y'all. Appreciate it. Make sure you guys hit that like button. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, everybody left after I mentioned ICT, huh? All right, but now look at. I wanted to point this out too. SMT on the 4-hour right here, right? SMT. So what I want to look for is on gold is if there's a SMT within the last Thursday at 1 a.m., Thursday 1 a.m., Thursday 1 a.m., Thursday 1 a.m., which will be Thursday 1 a.m. is this right here. Thursday 1 a.m. So that would be technically here then. Oh yeah, that's it right there. All right, so it's that one right there. So as you can see right here, look at this. This explains why that move also probably happened. Look at how this SMT is. And remember what I said? It needs to be the opposite. This one's going this way, gold is going this way. Look at gold. Boom. No, I'll leave it down there. Look, gold is like that, while silver's like that. Boom. And that's how you could tell. That's what they call the SMT when they do the opposite. One does a higher high, one does a lower low, but they're going in the same direction. So looking at silver, it did the same thing. It had the perfect SMT coming down, lower low, and it also went shorter down too. So that's kind of how you know you're going to get a bigger move. If this didn't have an SMT like that and this one was maybe going the same direction, this one probably would have bounced back a lot sooner. So yeah, like I said, that is a SMT tank, and it just perfectly lines up with just yesterday's gold SMT. But yeah, that's my idea about that. You guys have any more questions or anything? I've been on stream for 2 hours already, so I'll probably be hopping off right now in a sec. It's kind of late already for me. It's midnight. Damn, it's midnight already. I didn't realize how late it was. But yeah, alright guys, I'm gonna be hopping off though. I appreciate you guys for watching, and make sure you guys rewatch this video. You're not gonna learn it in one day, so just watch it a few times, try to memorize it, and then figure it out, and then like back test it on a demo. Just try calling it out, and if you called it out a few times and it works out, then try it on a like live though. And remember, this doesn't happen every second of the day. It happens certain time frames. You could probably find this once a day, but you're not going to find the trade that moves 500 pips every single day because it doesn't move that much. So that's why I say understanding what day you're trading is also going to be how big of a trade you could take. So if this is why a lot of people like my buddy Lasik, he talks about he likes to just trade Wednesday, Thursday, because that's the days the moves are happening. So there's no reason to trade Sunday when the ranges are so small. You're not going to catch a lot. I mean, but the thing is, it's okay to trade that way, but just realize it's Sunday, so you need to manage it like it's a Sunday, not like it's a Thursday that you're going to catch the runner that's going to run all the way to the top, So, but yeah, that's just my idea. But yeah, I appreciate you guys for watching though. I'm gonna hop off. I'm gonna hop back on tomorrow though. Yeah, no worries, bro. Appreciate you guys, John and Dennis and Disclosure. Appreciate you for stopping by. Working Top, Tiff. Who else came by? Nan also was here. Fluidity, appreciate it. Huzar. And Captain, I remember Captain, appreciate it. All right, guys, appreciate it. And Dennis, message me if you have any questions, bro. Feel free to message me if you